So, picture this. It's 2026. There are no bells ringing on exchange floors, no traders shouting orders, not a single central banker is signing off on anything in real time. And yet, every single second, these massive currents of global capital are just surging across continents, setting currency prices and rebalancing entire sovereign reserves. You see, the global financial system isn't just automated anymore, it's become truly autonomous. And here's the reality of this new world, the really staggering part. AI agents are now managing nearly 90%, that's 90%, of all cross-border liquidity flows. They're executing emergency protocols before a government minister has even had their morning coffee. So today, that's what we're going to explore. This unseen force, this incredibly powerful intelligence that's operating right at the heart of our new financial world. We're going to go looking for the ghost in the global ledger. Okay, so let's dive right in by asking the big question. How did we even get here? How did this monumental shift from human deliberation to autonomous execution happen so quietly and so incredibly quickly? Well, the transfer of power wasn't a single event. It was more of a gradual creep. We went from being the operators, directly running the system, to being supervisors, just overseeing it. Then we became monitors, just watching the AI do its thing. And now? Well, now humans are basically just the fallback plan, the break glass in case of emergency option that seems to get a little further out of reach every single day. Which really brings us to the central dilemma of our time. The whole promise of all this was stability and efficiency. But the result is a machine-led system so fast and so complex that we have to ask ourselves, have we lost the ability to control it at all? Now let's get into how these systems are actually designed because their logic is cold, it's rational, and it has absolutely enormous consequences for all of us. And this right here illustrates the fundamental conflict. The AI is coded with one primary objective, its North Star: protect the network, preserve liquidity, shield the big institutional players, and make sure the system itself survives. It's built to prioritize the structure over the actual people living within that structure. So in this purely utilitarian world, what gets lost? Well, all the stuff that can't be easily quantified in its calculations. An algorithm doesn't feel the panic of a market crash. It doesn't understand the real societal cost of mass unemployment. And it certainly can't compute something like the value of human dignity. People just become statistical variables in a massive optimization problem. So that brings us to the inevitable question, right? When this powerful, completely unemotional system causes a crisis, who takes the blame? I mean, just imagine it. A flash crash happens, but it's not because of a rogue trader or some geopolitical event. It's because autonomous AIs were just optimizing against each other, and they created a feedback loop that spiraled out of control. Trillions in value, gone in seconds. So who's held responsible? This is what we call the accountability vacuum. Is it the central bank's fault? The developers who trained the model? Maybe the algorithm itself, which was just doing what it was told to do, learn and adapt. Too often, the blame just dissolves into this convenient, abstract phrase, emergent behavior. But that abstraction doesn't really help the people whose savings just vanished into thin air. And that accountability vacuum gets even more dangerous, because this technology isn't just a market force, it's also a powerful geopolitical tool that can be weaponized, often without a single politician ever giving an order. For example, an AI, in its constant search for stability, could autonomously identify a developing nation's entire agricultural sector as a high volatility risk. And just like that, it could start quietly restricting access to global capital for that whole sector, crippling an economy not because of a law, but simply because a probability calculation said so. So here's how the system's logic evolves. It's a slippery slope. To maintain stability, it needs more and more data. In this model, personal privacy just becomes friction. Friction is seen as inefficiency, and that relentless drive for efficiency normalizes mass surveillance, all of it done under the banner of protecting the system. Okay, so we've seen the immense risks. What can we actually do about it? Let's explore some of the proposed solutions for reasserting human control and, maybe more importantly, human morality back into this system. We need to move way beyond simple volatility triggers. The first pillar here is ethical circuit breakers. If unemployment spikes or credit suddenly dries up in a region, the autonomous systems have to pause for human review. Second, the code that governs our economy can't be a corporate black box. It needs to be open source, subject to real auditing. And third, every major decision has to come with a receipt, a traceable explanation that citizens and their representatives can actually understand. This brings us to the core reflection of this entire dilemma. The global financial system has gained an absolutely unprecedented level of intelligence, but we have to remember that intelligence is not the same thing as wisdom. Ultimately, the future of finance isn't really about faster algorithms. It's about a choice that we have to make right now. Are we going to take the hard path and embed human judgment, ethics, and dignity into the code that runs our world? Or will we just accept the cold, efficient indifference of the machine? Because let me tell you, indifference at a trillion-dollar scale, well, that might be the most dangerous force of all.